Chapter 1. The CEO and his assistant. The elevator doors slid open to reveal the topmost floor of Ashbourne Corporation, a glass kingdom ruled by one man, Vincent Ashbourne. He was young, powerful, terrifyingly brilliant, and utterly, hopelessly in love with his executive assistant, Theo Blackwood. The man was every bit of calm Vincent was not. 32, composed, always punctual, voice gentle yet firm, the kind of person who could talk down an angry client and make a room of sharks feel civilized. He wore soft colors, tailored suits, and a faint smile that made Vincent's chest feel like it was cracking open every morning. Vincent's entire company might as well run on Theo's scent alone, the one he hid beneath suppression patches, the one that still slipped through faintly when he was tired or flustered. The Enigma CEO had smelled thousands of alphas before, but none ever stuck like this. He was doomed from the start. Vincent sat at his mahogany desk, pretending to read quarterly reports while watching Theo rearrange the files on the conference table. Theo's tie was a little crooked today. Vincent's fingers twitched. He wanted to fix it. No, he wanted to rip it off and kiss him until he forgot what professionalism even meant. "Mr. Ashbourne," Theo said softly, catching his gaze, "you're staring again." Vincent blinked. "No, I'm analyzing." Theo raised an eyebrow. "Analyzing what exactly? My filing technique?" "Your tie." Theo sighed. "Of course." Vincent leaned back in his chair, smirking faintly. "You should let me fix it. It's asymmetrical." Theo's lips twitched. "It's fine, sir." Vincent's tone lowered. "It's not. It's been bothering me since morning." "Then maybe stop looking at it." "I can't," Vincent said simply. "It's part of my morning motivation." Theo froze. "Excuse me?" Vincent didn't even blink. "You're the first thing I see every day, Theo. If I don't look, I might lose focus." Theo pressed a hand to his forehead. "Please don't say that in the HR department's hearing range." Vincent tilted his head. "Why? I'm complimenting my most efficient employee." "Efficient doesn't mean objectified, Mr. Ashbourne." Vincent chuckled lowly, that deep, rich sound that made Theo's pulse skip, for reasons he refused to admit. "Noted. I'll objectify you quietly next time." Theo's hand almost slipped on the stack of files. "You?" It had been 3 years since Theo joined Ashbourne Corporation. 3 years of perfect professionalism. 3 years of resisting the magnetic pull of the man who ruled the building like a god in a suit. Theo wasn't blind. Vincent Ashbourne was breathtaking. Too beautiful, too confident, too dangerously composed for his own good. And yet, something about him felt safe, familiar, as if his cold mask hid a warmth that peeked out only when Theo was near. For Vincent, that warmth had a name: obsession. He'd known since the first year that Theo was different. By the second year, he was sure he wanted his laughter, his scent, his presence, his everything. And when he accidentally overheard one of the HR assistants mention Theo's daughter, Vincent's reaction was immediate. "He has a daughter?" Yes, sir. 5 years old, I think." "Does she have everything she needs?" I believe so, sir. Double her everything." Within a week, an anonymous courier started delivering boxes to Theo's apartment. Handmade dolls, fairy tale storybooks, and limited edition plushies that cost more than most people's rent. Theo had no idea who sent them. The nanny kept thanking the mysterious Santa, and Lucy, bright-eyed and full of giggles, started telling everyone her secret fairy friend sent her presents. Vincent would spend his nights reading quarterly reports with one hand and scrolling through online toy catalogs with the other. "You're ridiculous," second-in-command muttered one evening. "Buying a 5-year-old a diamond tiara?" "It's not diamond," Vincent corrected sharply. "It's crystal. I'm not insane." Theo, however, was beginning to lose his sanity at work. Vincent's attention had become too much. He'd appear silently behind Theo's shoulder just to check on the presentation. He'd order Theo's lunch himself, because you always forget to eat, Blackwood. And once, He fired a waiter at a company gala for spilling wine near Theo. "Sir," Theo hissed afterward, "that was unnecessary." He was clumsy. He barely touched me. He almost did. Theo pinched the bridge of his nose. "You can't just fire people because they breathe too close to me." Vincent leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper. "Watch me." Theo glared. "You're unbelievable." Vincent's smirk softened, eyes melting with something far too tender. "You're the only person who makes my world feel calm." Theo's heart gave a dangerous lurch. He turned away quickly, muttering, "You need therapy, sir." "I already have therapy," Vincent said with a grin. "It's called you." Later that evening, Theo found a neatly wrapped box on his desk. Inside was a small silver bracelet engraved with the initials TBLB. Theo blinked. "Lucy Blackwood, my daughter's initials." His phone buzzed. A message from Vincent. "Vincent, I heard Lucy's birthday is next week." Theo, "How do you even know that?" Vincent, "I know everything about the people I care about." Theo, "You shouldn't." Vincent, "Too late, tell her happy birthday for me." Theo, "You've never even met her." Vincent, "Not yet." Theo stared at the screen, his pulse uneven. He didn't know whether to be flattered or terrified. Probably both. Every day after that, Vincent grew bolder. He'd accidentally brush fingers with Theo when handing documents, lean too close during meetings, and glare down any alpha employee who smiled at Theo for longer than 3 seconds. He was territorial in every sense without ever officially touching. One afternoon, when a visiting investor tried to flirt with Theo, Vincent's entire aura dropped several degrees colder. "Mr. Ashbourne," Theo muttered under his breath as Vincent dismissed the man with a single chilling glare. "You can't threaten clients." He was eyeing my assistant. "Your assistant?" "Yes, mine." Theo sighed, long and weary. "You don't own me, Vincent." Vincent's gaze softened, dangerous in its sincerity. "Not yet." Later that night, as Theo packed up to go home, Vincent appeared at his doorway. He looked tired, a rare crack in his polished armor. "Don't stay too late," Theo said automatically. "You need rest." Vincent studied him for a long, silent moment. Then quietly, "You've worked beside me for 3 years, Theo. You've seen every side of me, the ruthless CEO, the perfectionist, the control freak." Theo blinked, surprised at the vulnerability in his tone. "But only with you," Vincent continued, stepping closer. "Do I feel like I'm human? You make me calm." Theo hesitated, unsure how to respond. "I think you're exhausted, sir. You should go home." Vincent smiled faintly. "You're right. Maybe I'll dream of you again tonight." Theo nearly choked. What?" But Vincent was already walking away, his voice smooth as silk. "Sweet dreams, Mr. Blackwood." And Theo, staring at his retreating figure, could only mutter, "That man's going to be the death of me." Chapter 2. The Accidental Bond. The grand ballroom of the Ashbourne Corporation's annual luxury banquet glimmered like a palace. Crystal chandeliers hung above the crowd, soft music hummed from a live orchestra, and the scent of expensive perfume filled the air. Vincent Ashbourne stood at the center of it all, the picture of composure. Sharp suit, perfect posture, a glass of champagne untouched in his hand, except for one small problem. His inner enigma was restless. The faint trace of Theo Blackwood's scent, that warm, soothing, maddening scent of cedar and citrus, was burning through every layer of control Vincent had built. He could feel it. That telltale surge of heat, the pulse beneath his skin, the sharp ache that told him his rut had arrived, 2 weeks too early. His eyes flickered faintly gold for a second before he clenched his fists, trying to steady his breathing. Not here. Not now. Not in a hall full of people. Theo, unaware of the storm building in his boss, was talking to a client near the buffet table. He looked beautiful tonight. Hair slightly tousled, sleeves rolled up, the faintest smile curving his lips. Vincent's jaw tightened. Every alpha in the room who even glanced at Theo was testing his patience. Sir, his head of security whispered cautiously, sensing the danger. Do you want to leave? Vincent's voice came out low and strained. If I stay another minute, I'll do something that will make the news. His gaze followed Theo as he laughed lightly at something a client said. Mine. The word wasn't his thought, it was his Enigma's, feral and absolute. He could feel the beast inside him stirring, wanting to claim, to mark, to bind. When Theo finally noticed Vincent's flushed cheeks and trembling hands, concern replaced his easy smile. He immediately crossed the room, ignoring the murmurs of staff and guests. Vincent, he whispered, switching to his first name in rare alarm. You're overheating. Vincent's eyes snapped to him, pupils dilated, breath heavy. Theo, get me out of here. Theo didn't ask questions. He slipped an arm around Vincent's shoulders, guiding him through the back exit like a shield. Come on, you're burning up. You need rest. They reached the waiting car and Theo climbed in beside him, trying to keep Vincent from losing consciousness. But the moment Vincent inhaled deeply, catching Theo's scent without the suppression patch he'd forgotten to replace that morning, everything snapped. The ride was a blur. Vincent's breath hitched. His skin burned. His pheromones thickened in the air, swirling with dominance and hunger. Theo felt at the crushing pull of an Enigma's rut. He swallowed hard, knowing he needed to act fast. Vincent, he said firmly, I'm taking you home. Just hold on, all right? But by the time they reached Vincent's penthouse, the younger man was trembling violently, eyes glowing gold red. His voice broke on a whisper. Theo, I can't control it. Theo tried to lead him toward the couch, but the moment their hands brushed, their pheromones collided, sparks in the air. Theo gasped, overwhelmed. The scent was intoxicating, magnetic, perfectly compatible. Vincent's Enigma side roared inside him, recognizing its mate. And then everything dissolved into heat, scent, and instinct. Hours later, silence filled the penthouse. The night's chaos had burned out into slow, steady breaths. Vincent blinked awake, his vision hazy. The world felt soft, too soft, until he realized he was holding someone in his arms. Theo. Sleeping peacefully against his chest, skin marked faintly where Vincent's teeth had sunk in. Right on the base of his neck, the permanent mark of an Enigma's bond. Vincent's chest tightened. He touched the mark, trembling. I marked him. He remembered flashes, Theo's voice, his warmth, the moment their pheromones intertwined in a bond that couldn't be undone. Panic flickered quickly, drowned by something possessive, primal, and strangely content. His Enigma purred inside him, satisfied. Our mate. Vincent tightened his hold instinctively, pressing a soft kiss against Theo's hair. You're mine now, he murmured, voice hoarse. I won't let you out of my sight ever again. The next morning, Theo woke up with a dull ache in his neck and a very heavy, very warm Enigma CEO wrapped around him. His first thought, oh no. His second, please let this be a dream. Vincent, he croaked, trying to sit up. Did we? Bond, Vincent said smoothly from behind him, tone smug. Yes. Theo froze. You did not just say that so casually. Vincent nuzzled the side of his neck, a low, satisfied hum escaping him. You smell like me now. I like it. Theo's brain short-circuited. Vincent, this is insane. You were in rut. You didn't even know what you were doing. I knew exactly what I was doing, Vincent murmured, eyes darkening, and I'd do it again. Theo turned to glare at him, only for Vincent to smirk lazily, the picture of post-rut arrogance. Stop smiling like that, Theo snapped. You're terrifying. Vincent's grin widened. Terrifyingly in love, yes. Theo threw a pillow at his face. Go to hell. Vincent caught it effortlessly. Already there. You brought me. By afternoon, Theo had tried everything short of physically breaking the door to leave. But Vincent had already locked him in the penthouse, with guards stationed at the entrance. You can't keep me here, Theo shouted from the hallway. Vincent looked up from his laptop on the couch, voice calm. You're my mate. It's my job to take care of you. Taking care doesn't mean imprisoning me. It does, Vincent said, when you try to run away while still smelling like my mark. Theo threw his hands up in disbelief. You're insane. Vincent smiled, eyes glinting with fond madness. And you're stuck with me, Mr. Blackwood. For the next 4 days, Vincent pampered Theo with luxury gourmet meals, silk robes, and enough affection to make Theo both flustered and furious. He even sent a personal team to Theo's apartment to make sure Lucy was safe and cared for, with 24/7 supervision and gifts from her new uncle. Theo's protests fell on deaf ears. You can't just send a security squad to my child's house, Vincent. I can, Vincent said, pouring him tea. And I did. You're welcome. Theo groaned. You're impossible. That's what love looks like, apparently, Vincent muttered, kissing his knuckles. Theo's heart betrayed him by fluttering. On the 4th day, Theo's patience broke. I want to see my daughter, he said firmly, voice trembling. Now. Vincent's expression softened. He'd been waiting for this moment. All right, he said quietly. I'll bring her here myself. Theo blinked, shocked at the sudden agreement. You will? Vincent smiled faintly. Of course. She's going to be my daughter too, after all. Theo's heart skipped. Vincent! But the CEO was already gone, coat in hand, leaving behind the faint scent of possessive satisfaction. 2 hours later, Vincent stood at the doorstep of Theo's home, greeted by the nanny and by the little girl who peeked out from behind her legs. Lucy Blackwood, 5 years old. Soft curls framing her tiny face, silver gray eyes bright and curious. Vincent froze. The world tilted. His heartbeat stumbled. Those eyes. His eyes. The same shade, the same warmth, the same faint mole under her right eye that even he had. For a moment he couldn't breathe. His enigma flared violently, eyes flashing red for a split second as a single, primal word echoed in his head mine. Lucy tilted her head, smiling shyly. Are you Daddy's boss? Vincent swallowed hard, voice rough. Yes, I am. She blinked, tilting her head again. You look like me. Vincent's chest constricted painfully. He knelt down slowly, eyes softening. Maybe, he whispered. Maybe we look like each other. Chapter 3. The Truth Buried in the Past. The Ashbourne mansion was unusually quiet that morning. Vincent sat in his office, one hand clutching the DNA envelope, while the other trembled faintly against the desk. His eyes, usually cold and commanding, flickered with a storm of emotion. Theo stood before him, arms crossed, equally tense. Neither spoke for several minutes. The silence was deafening until Vincent finally ripped open the envelope. His pupils contracted as he read the results. DNA match, 99.98%. Lucy Blackwood, biological daughter of Vincent Ashbourne. The paper slipped from his fingers. His jaw clenched. His inner enigma snarled possessively, and for the first time in years his composure cracked. You hid this from me, he growled, rising from his chair. You kept my daughter away from me for 5 years, Theo? Theo flinched but quickly straightened. Don't you dare blame me, he snapped back. I didn't even know. Don't lie to me, Vincent's voice thundered, making the windows vibrate. His pheromones leaked uncontrollably, dark, suffocating, furious. Theo's own alpha scent pushed back instinctively. If I knew Lucy was yours, do you think I'd have kept her from you? He shouted, tears of anger pooling in his eyes. Their argument spiraled, hurt clashing with confusion, until Theo, shaking, suddenly stilled. His eyes widened slightly as a memory surfaced from the foggy corners of his mind. Wait, Theo whispered. 5 years ago, there was a night. I was at that old Alpha Club downtown. I had too many drinks, and someone took me into a dark room. I barely remember his face, but I vaguely remember his scent. Vincent froze. Your scent, Theo said softly, voice breaking. That was the same scent. You were there, weren't you? Vincent's eyes widened as the memory hit him like a storm. The room dimly lit, the haze of his first uncontrolled rut, the trembling warmth of the stranger beneath him whose scent had haunted him for years. It was you, Vincent breathed, stepping closer, voice trembling. All this time, I've been searching for that scent, for that person. And it was you. Theo looked away, flustered and overwhelmed. But before he could respond, the sound of small footsteps interrupted the silence. Lucy peeked in shyly, clutching her stuffed bunny. Daddy, can I come in? Theo turned instantly, his anger melting into affection. Of course, sweetheart. Come here. Lucy ran to him, giggling as she clung to his leg. Vincent's gaze softened, all fury draining away as he looked at her. Really looked. The same silver-gray eyes, the soft curls that matched his childhood photos. His heart clenched painfully. Lucy tilted her head curiously. You're Mr. Ashbourne, right? The one who sends me teddy bears? Vincent swallowed hard, kneeling down to her level. Yes, that's me. Theo sighed dramatically, his tone teasing despite his moist eyes. Lucy, sweetheart, what do you say when you meet someone who's apparently your other father? Lucy blinked, confused. Huh? Theo smirked through his tears. Say hi, Dad. Lucy's eyes widened as she turned to Vincent, hesitating before shyly murmuring. Hi, Dad. Vincent's composure shattered completely. Tears spilled down his cheeks before he could stop them. He reached forward slowly, hugging her carefully as if afraid she might vanish. I missed everything, he whispered, voice raw. Your first steps, your first words, even your first smile. Theo watched silently, the tension finally easing from his shoulders. Lucy, sitting comfortably in Vincent's arms, grinned. It's okay, Daddy. You can see my next ones. Vincent choked on a laugh, hugging her tighter. I'll see all of them from now on, he promised, voice thick with emotion. Theo rolled his eyes but couldn't hide his fond smile. Great. So now I have 2 clingy children. Vincent shot him a teary grin. Correction. 1 daughter and 1 husband-to-be. You're impossible, Theo muttered, trying to hide his flustered face. Vincent chuckled softly, still holding Lucy, his inner enigma purring contentedly. His family, his mate, and his daughter were finally back where they belonged. And for the first time in years, the ruthless CEO Vincent Ashbourne felt whole. Chapter 4. The Possession. A month had passed since the truth surfaced, since Vincent learned he was both a mate and a father. And in that month, the Ashbourne penthouse transformed. No longer the cold fortress it once was, it now overflowed with warmth and chaos. Toys were scattered across the marble floor. The air smelled faintly of sweet pancakes and Theo's scent. Vincent's men, the most feared security team in the corporate world, were now reduced to personal butlers and babysitters, because Lucy had decided they were all her knights. Sir, Miss Lucy wants us to play tea party again, one of them reported gravely, holding a tiny pink teacup. Then play, Vincent ordered, without missing a beat, and call her princess. The poor man nodded solemnly. Yes, your highness's father. Vincent smirked proudly, glancing across the room. Lucy sat cross-legged in her fluffy pink pajamas, her curls bouncing as she laughed, pouring imaginary tea for her new knights. She looked so much like Theo. It made Vincent's chest ache. And then there was Theo, his beautiful, stubborn mate, who was currently arguing with Vincent about going back to work. Vincent, I've already missed 2 weeks of work, Theo huffed, fixing his tie. You're not going, Vincent replied calmly, typing away at his tablet. Excuse me? You're pregnant. You shouldn't overexert yourself. Yes, Theo was pregnant again. Theo, though, just groaned. I'm pregnant, not dying. Vincent finally looked up, eyes soft but possessive. Still, I can't risk anything happening to you, or them. Theo blinked. Them? The baby, Vincent corrected with a tiny smile. And you. Both are mine. Theo's heart skipped a beat, but he quickly covered it with irritation. You can't just cage me in because you're scared. I'm not scared, Vincent murmured, standing and walking closer. His pheromones filled the air, thick and intoxicating. I'm protecting what's mine. Theo swallowed hard as Vincent's hand brushed the mark on his neck. the permanent bond Vincent had accidentally created. Vincent bent his head and kissed it gently, inhaling Theo's scent. "Vincent," Theo whispered, trying to stay firm. "You said you don't want a partner," Theo whispered one night. "Then why do you keep holding me like I'm your world?" Vincent's lips curved against his skin. "Because you are my world," he said softly. "You and the children we made. You're not just my partner, Theo. You're my possession, my life, my world, my forever." Theo's breath hitched. His alpha instincts wanted to argue, but his heart melted. Vincent wasn't perfect. He was possessive, controlling, borderline obsessed, but he loved with a ferocity that was both terrifying and tender. And as days passed, Theo found himself softening too. He'd catch Vincent at night, sitting quietly beside Lucy's bed, watching her sleep. His once cold eyes glowed with warmth. Lucy adored him. She called him Daddy Vinny now, and he couldn't stop smiling whenever she did. "Daddy Vinny, can we get a puppy?" "Of course, princess. Can it sleep on your bed?" "It can sleep on me if you want." Theo's exasperated sighs were met with Lucy's giggles and Vincent's amused smirk. Even Vincent's men weren't spared. Lucy ordered them around like royal guards, and they obeyed with military precision. "Guard number 3, fetch my bunny." "At once, Your Highness." Theo would just watch, laughing quietly. "You've turned assassins into babysitters." "They work better under royal command," Vincent deadpanned, eyes gleaming. Despite the light moments, Vincent's obsession still flickered beneath the surface. Every time Theo left his side, even for an hour, his Enigma instincts went wild. He'd scent Theo the moment he returned, kissing the mark possessively as if to reassure himself that Theo was still his. Theo would groan, blush, and swat him away. "Vincent, we're in the middle of breakfast. Breakfast tastes better after marking what's mine." Lucy would just giggle, completely oblivious. "Daddy Vinny, are you eating Daddy Theo's neck?" Theo turned scarlet. Vincent nearly choked trying to hold back laughter. But as days turned into weeks, the bond between them only grew deeper. Vincent began to balance his obsession with love, learning to hold Theo without caging him, to protect without smothering. And for the first time, Theo didn't feel trapped. He felt cherished. Every night, Vincent would wrap his arms around him, resting his hand on Theo's growing belly. "I'll protect you," he whispered, "all of you." Theo smiled sleepily, placing his hand over Vincent's. "You're doing just fine, Daddy Vinny." Vincent chuckled softly, pressing a kiss to Theo's mark again. In that quiet moment, with Lucy asleep in the next room and their unborn child growing inside Theo, Vincent's once lonely penthouse finally felt alive. The cold CEO had found his warmth, and the man who once feared love now drowned in it, happily, obsessively, irrevocably. Chapter 5, Bound by Fate. Theo's third month of pregnancy came with both chaos and warmth, and a secret that Vincent could barely keep contained. He had been planning the perfect proposal for weeks. Every detail, from the flowers Theo loved to the lullaby Lucy liked to hum before bed, was included. Because this time, Vincent Ashbourne, the cold, feared Enigma CEO, wanted the world to know that his family wasn't just a part of his life. They were his life. The proposal. Theo had just finished his checkup, irritation written all over his face after being followed by Vincent's guards for the entire appointment. "Vincent, I can walk to the car alone," Theo muttered, clutching the reports. "No," Vincent said simply. "You're carrying my child in my heart. You don't get to walk anywhere alone." Theo sighed. "You're impossible." "And you love me," Vincent replied, smirking. When they reached the penthouse, the lights dimmed. Theo frowned. "Vincent, what?" Then, thousands of soft golden petals began to fall from above. The terrace glowed with fairy lights. In the center stood Lucy, holding a small velvet box in her tiny hands. "Daddy Theo," she said, grinning wide. "Daddy Vinny told me to give you this." Theo blinked, confused until Vincent knelt before him. His usual sharp, confident presence softened. For once, he looked nervous. "Theo Blackwood," Vincent began, voice low but steady. You've been my reason, my calm, my chaos, and my greatest love. I was lost for years until I found you. And then I realized I'd already had you once before fate brought you back to me. Tears welled in Theo's eyes as Lucy clapped, bouncing on her heels. Marry me, Theo. Let's stop pretending the universe didn't plan this all along. Theo covered his mouth, laughing through his tears. You're such an idiot. An idiot hopelessly in love with you, Vincent whispered. Theo nodded, voice trembling. Yes, Vincent. Yes. Lucy squealed. Yay! Daddy Theo's gonna be Daddy Vinny's husband. Vincent kissed Theo's hand reverently, sliding the diamond ring on his finger. His mark glowed faintly under the city lights, as if their bond itself approved. The wedding. The wedding was nothing short of legendary. Held in the Ashbourne family's private estate, it was luxurious yet intimate. Billionaires, politicians, and high-ranking enigmas attended, but none could miss the way Vincent's eyes never left Theo, or how Lucy, dressed in a tiny white gown, twirled happily beside them. When Vincent kissed Theo before the altar, the crowd erupted in applause. From this day forward, Vincent vowed, you are mine not because I claimed you, but because fate did. Theo smiled, whispering back, and I'm yours by choice. The cameras flashed, headlines exploded, and within hours the world knew. Vincent Ashbourne was officially married to his alpha assistant, Theo Blackwood, and their daughter Lucy was their heir. The pregnancy journey. Theo's pregnancy was smoother this time, mostly because Vincent refused to let him lift a finger. Every morning, Vincent woke early to prepare Theo's breakfast, or more accurately, burn the toast and panic until the house staff saved him. Lucy was thrilled to be a big sister. She'd place her hands on Theo's belly every night, whispering, Hi, baby, it's me, Lucy. Don't kick Daddy Theo too much, okay? Vincent would join her, resting his head against Theo's stomach, his voice low and full of affection. They already know who their daddy is, he'd murmur. Theo would roll his eyes but secretly melt inside. Even the doctors grew used to Vincent's overprotective behavior. Mr. Ashbourne, the obstetrician sighed one afternoon, you really don't have to guard the ultrasound machine. It touched my spouse. It's suspicious, Vincent replied seriously. Theo laughed so hard he nearly cried. The birth. The day came quietly, a warm morning with soft rain outside. Theo's contractions started while he was scolding Vincent for sneaking more chocolate into his diet. Vincent, if you keep buying, Theo. Vincent jumped, panic flashing across his face. It's happening. It's happening. For once, the composed CEO completely lost his cool. Hours later, in the private maternity suite, Vincent held Theo's trembling hand, whispering words of encouragement. You're doing perfect, love. I'm right here. You better be, Theo growled, breathless but smiling through tears. And then, a cry filled the room. Vincent froze. A small, red-faced baby was placed into Theo's arms. It's a boy, the doctor said softly. Theo sobbed, holding their newborn close, his whole body shaking with emotion. Vincent leaned over, eyes glistening, kissing Theo's forehead. Lucy peeked from the door, guided by her nanny. Is that my baby brother? She whispered. Theo smiled through his tears. Yes, sweetheart. Come say hi. Lucy tiptoed closer, her eyes wide with wonder. Hi, baby. I'm Lucy, your big sister. The baby gurgled softly, and Lucy's eyes sparkled. He smiled at me. Vincent wrapped his arms around both of them, Theo holding the baby, Lucy in his lap. His heart felt full, almost too full. Maybe you were meant to claim me that night, Theo said softly, looking up at him. But now, I'm claiming you back. Vincent's throat tightened. He bent forward, pressing his forehead to Theo's. From the beginning, he whispered, voice trembling. It was always you. My first, my last, my only. Theo smiled through his tears, the newborn nestled against him, Lucy hugging them both. Outside, the rain had stopped. The sky turned gold with sunrise, casting light through the windows over their mark, over their joined hands, and over the family fate had bound together not once but twice. The Enigma and his alpha, the billionaire and his assistant, the family bound by love, chaos, and destiny.